had like
20,000 for this?
Yes.
This is a 2022 CT 125 or Trail 125 from Honda, and today we're going to give it our first impressions. Just setting expectations for this bike. I understand this is not a 100% road bike. This is meant for on and off road. That's why it's called the Trail 125. So when I do the test ride, it was going to be pavement only, so I'm going to take that into consideration on my final thoughts. Starting with the looks of the bike, I really love the looks of this bike. This kind of has a combination of a moped / motorcycle style, so I really like it. Seems like a hard seat. What is this? Is this a kickstart? Next on to comfort. This is much bigger than it looks. I stand at 6'4", and just sitting here, I'm fairly comfortable. My knees have plenty of space between the handlebars. The handlebar width seems very appropriate. The seat is comfortable. When I first sat on it, it did seem a little bit harder than normal. Some things to note: when I brought my foot up, you do feel the heel shifter and the toe shifter if you have big enough feet. I wear a size 12, and I can touch both at the same time. On the other side, when I put my foot up, I do feel the foot brake, and I did hit the Kickstarter, which I didn't even know this bike had. And while we're talking about the foot pegs, they are big, and they do have a big piece of rubber on top of them, which makes it look like it's going to have very little vibration and be comfortable. For the dash, we have very simple, which is good. It is a fuel gauge, which my bike does not have. A mile/hour digital reading. Total mileage of the bike, trip A and trip B. And for lights, not on the digital display, it has ABS, high beams, blinkers, check engine, and neutral. For the tires, we have 17-inch tires, disc brakes on the front and the rear, and it has a chain drive. And as for a passenger, this comes stock with no passenger seat, with no passenger pegs in the US. There are aftermarket options for a pad to go on the rack, and Dave did put some passenger pegs, as you can see there. This rack is very large, and it has a weight limit of 44 pounds, but you could probably carry more than that. Some other things to note about this bike is it does come with a center stand, these crash bars, and a skid plate completely stock. This rack here is aftermarket, and it's very nice. He also put in a aftermarket USB charger here and another plug here. And this bike retails at $39.99. After dealer fees and stuff, you're probably between $4,500 and $5,000. The used market, you can see the prices up on screen over here. All right, let's go ride. It's in first. And it doesn't stall.
No, it won't stall. It can't.
It can't stall. All right, let's get a feel for this bike. So right away, very smooth. All right, no clutch on this bike, as you guys can see. So it's just like a semi-automatic transmission. And so far, so good. We're in second gear. Only 4 gears on this bike. Neutral is at the bottom, so it goes neutral, 1, 2, 3, 4, and it does not stall because there is no clutch. So, very interesting bike. The pickup is very good. It has really good power in the low end. You can feel it. Oh my goodness. The downshifting, it's going to take me a minute to get used to. So right away, the mirrors are very good. He did put these aftermarket bar risers on the mirrors. The handling is effortless. Just cruising back and forth on this bike feels very good. The foot pegs are comfortable. The right foot does need to sit on the heel for me, just because I will hit the Kickstarter. But other than that, very comfortable riding position, very standard riding position, just like I like. Weird downshifting. I'm not sure if I'm a fan. So another thing to note, since there is no clutch, you can't rev your engine. As soon as you try to rev, it just starts to take off, obviously, because you're in gear. This would take me a little while to get used to, but so far it seems pretty fun. The mirrors do vibrate more than I would like. All right, we're gonna try to hit a top speed here. We do have a lot of wind coming toward us right now. All right, we're completely pinned out in 4th gear, going 45 miles an hour. So just hopping on this thing and riding, it's not that hard. Pretty beginner friendly as far as I can tell. It's the downshifting that's getting me that you definitely have to get used to. And you can't clutch in and just go down to 1st because there's no clutch. Oh, we hit a new top speed, I didn't even notice. 47, 48 miles an hour. Holy cow. I feel like a NASCAR driver right now. Give me 50. Give me 50. Come on. Come on. 49. Come on. Not tucked at all. This is standing straight up. And we're going to tuck just a little bit. 50 miles an hour, baby. We hit it. Oh my goodness. This downshifting is killing me. So, as far as I can tell, you basically never go to 1st unless you're at a stop sign or a stop light. Yeah, the majority of the riding on this bike is going to be cruising around in 4th gear, going between 35 and 50 miles an hour as far as I can tell. The handling, like I already mentioned, is amazing. It feels great. It's so stable. It feels, the handlebars are appropriate. The size of the bike, it looks big in person for what it is, but it just feels right. Honda definitely did something good with this bike. So 50 miles an hour is pretty good considering I barely maintain over 50 on the Honda Grom. Oh, I forgot to downshift when I came to a stop. Upshifting, very good. Downshifting, not my favorite. Definitely would take some time to get used to this. The brakes, they don't feel too touchy and they don't feel too loose. The brakes feel just right for this bike. The gauge while riding, it's a negative display and it does have kind of a glare when riding, so kind of hard to see sometimes. Are we gonna hit a new top speed? 49, 50, 51 miles an hour. The power is just right. The throttle rolls on very smooth. It's not too touchy. This would be a fun bike, and I can only imagine taking this off-road. It would be pretty fun. So with a top speed of 51 miles an hour so far, and a definite cruising speed of 45 all the time, this, I mean, it definitely could not hang with my Kymco long term because I cruise between 55 and 60 miles an hour. If we're just running around in town, 45 miles an hour, it's pretty good for this bike, just to cruise. While riding, the kickstart has not gotten my way one time. So, and the fact that I can touch the upshift or the front shifter and the back shifter at the same time with my foot is not causing an issue either. Just finished the test ride of the Trail 125, and I can tell you guys that I was not disappointed at all. I wouldn't say I was surprised. It performed slightly above my expectations. It had a lot of low-end power. It got up to 4th gear very quick. I hit a top speed of 51 miles an hour. Very similar to the Grom, the Monkey, and the Z125 for top speed. And this has been tuned down for obviously trail riding. So very impressive on the Trail 125's part. The MSRP for this, brand new from a dealer, is $39.99. After every fee and everything, you're probably $45,000 to $5,000 out the door. Is it worth that much money? It's hard to argue with Honda quality. It's definitely a fun bike. You could say it's worth the money, but would I personally buy the bike for $4,500 to $5,000? I would never personally buy any mini moto for over $4,000. Dave mentioned he got a really good deal on this for around the $3,000 mark. And would I buy it at the price he found it at? $3,000?
Yeah, I stole it.
Brand new?
I mean,
I'd buy this for $3,000. I'd buy this.
That's why
I haven't even rode it yet. 100% this bike I would buy at that price because everything else with the bike was great. The comfort was great. The power was appropriate. And just the amount of accessories and the community that backs this bike is huge. So I'm sure there's a tons of aftermarket stuff, There's tons of homemade stuff you could rig up for it, and you can bring this off-road. You can put off-road tires on it. There's so many options. So at that price, I would be all in. So the owner of this bike, Dave, also reviewed my Kymco Spade 150. If you want to see that video, click right here. And if you want to see me review other bikes like the Grom and Z125, click right over here.
Rapping when they own me to sing. But still they all want an album, so I gave them 20 singles. Yeah, I'm trying to get a hit, that's why I swing.